Okay, today we're going to paint the little geese. This is not going to be very hard at all. And since you've been painting with me all along, this should be easy. The colors that we're going to use are yellow, orange, a little bit of brown, a little bit of lilac, green, white, and black. And if you notice, I have more white than anything else because most of the colors are going to be mixed up with white. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take my white and put it to the side and pick up a little drop of the black to create a gray. Okay, so I want a really light gray because that's what I'm going to base my little geese, whatever you call it, in, right? So I'm going to come here, and why am I doing this? This way the white won't be so strong, and when we paint it, we can actually highlight and put little feathers in it and all of that. If we did it all white, we would need to do like 3 or 4 coats of white. And the surface that I'm using is an MDF board, 5x7, and I put a little bit of molding paste on the background. So see, here's our little goose. And I like things that don't end. So I'm gonna leave that bottom side open. See how pretty that looks? Okay, and I left that little corner open because that's gonna be the geese eye, okay? So now, without rinsing my brush, I'm going to pick up a little bit of my yellow, and I'm going to do my beak in a little yellow. Try not to cover that little hole there too much. And this is just dropping color right now, right? You're used to seeing me paint this the way, very, very soft. And you only need a drop of this stuff. And I do have the kit available. If anybody wants to buy it, I'll have the link to my website on the bottom. So the kit will include all your paints. It will include your board already prepped. It would include some extra molding paste, a line drawing, and a color picture. So if you don't get everything on now, and obviously the free video. So what I'm going to do now is, that's kind of wet, but I didn't put a lot of water in it, so it should move around. So I'm going to take a little bit of my orange without wetting my brush, and I'm going to come here to the center of the beak, and I'm going to start putting some of those shadows in there, because the beaks on the geese are orange, but they're not really orange. They have some yellow in them. So it's starting to look pretty good. And I'm going to put a little line in here, and we'll come back and we'll give it some more little detail. But I'm moving from side to side because what I want to do is create some texture, which I get from putting the molding paste underneath. And I'm going to put a little highlight right here. Whoops, forgot to mix it with my yellow. So that I know where my beak is going to separate up here. And this is going to be the highlight. See, and everything I'm doing, I'm mixing with white. So white, white, white. So that's the little side edge of my beak, right? And since this is going to be the dark side, I'm going to leave the paints that I have in my brush, pick up a little bit of that brown. And when I mean a little bit, look, a dot of it. And I'm going to come here and put some of that color just to outline it. I can come back later and make it darker. Come back here again and make that a little bit darker. Okay. And I'm going to put a little bit around the front of the nose here with the dark brown. And I left a little lip of the yellow. That's fine. What I don't want you to do is have it all the same exact color. That's kind of boring, right? And the beak has a lot of little details in it, believe it or not. So I'm just going to keep putting a little bit of that brown in here. And I'm very softly, see that? Very softly moving my paint so that you can get some of that color in there. I'm going to come back with my orange and go back over that. And because I'm not wetting my brush constantly, my paint is able to go wherever I want it to without too much effort. And it's giving me a little bit of movement in my beak. See that? So that's starting to look pretty real, doesn't it? just with a little bit of effort. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my pure white and I'm going to start coloring my goose. And I haven't rinsed my brush yet, and that's fine, because when you see animals in nature, depending on where the sun hits it, it can be any color. And I like my paintings to be textured. So this little guy, because animals in nature are very textured, I'm gonna just throw my white in here, and what happens is a little bit of the gray is showing underneath, and it just gives you different levels of painting. See that? And I don't care if the bottom is totally gray, that's fine. Okay, so I'm gonna come right here on the beak, and I wanna make that really, really sharp, because that area in the geese is really sharp. And don't worry about the pencil lines. If you get the kit, I will have the whole thing drawn out for you, so you don't even have to learn how to draw it. And I'm gonna come here and just move that in a little bit. See that? Now a little goose, whatever you wanna call it, mama goose. In order to put some little shades and forms in here, if we did it just white like that, it wouldn't look bad, but I like to put a little bit of form in my little painting. So I'm gonna bring out a little bit of the white down here too, and go underneath his little beak. See that? I'm gonna come here a little bit more with the white, because this is the highlighted area of the geese. And now underneath here, we're gonna start shading, which means this is gonna be on top of that. So instead of people a lot of times use brown, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take my white again and use a little purple, like nothing. And I haven't rinsed my brush yet. So I'm gonna come underneath my goose, maybe a little bit more purple, a little bit more. There. Oh yeah, that's what you want. Want a little bit of the purple in there, and a lot down here. And I'm not putting a lot of pressure in my brush. This is very, very soft. And towards the bottom, I'm gonna make it a lot. And then we know that there's no purple geese, but don't you think it looks a little bit softer if you put purple instead of like brown? I'm gonna come here and give him a little smile. And I'm gonna constantly wipe my brush. See that? And that's my little purple goose. Okay, and I need to put a little bit of color in here, a little purple, so that it doesn't look so white. But I'm going very soft with my paint, and I'm just putting it in here and just dabbing it. See that? So you can see that there's a shadow of some kind, but you don't have to make it so strong that you can see actually purple. You want all the colors kind of to blend. And I'm gonna put a little bit around his eye, because I want his eye to be standing out. Now for his eye, I'm gonna take a smaller brush, because there's no way I can do this with this big brush. And I'm taking pure black, no white in it. And I'm gonna make kind of like a little triangle for the eye. See that? And I don't know if the eyes are really big or small or what, but that's gonna be his little eye. And I'm gonna just rinse my brush out. And right now he's looking a little mean, but that's okay. I'm gonna put a little white on the side here to accent that. And we'll come back to the eye in a little bit. So here's the white for the goose. And I'm gonna take my nice little thin brush, and I'm gonna come right outside here, right? And I'm gonna give him a little nudge in here so that it doesn't look so severe. And I'm gonna take a little drop of my white, and I'm gonna put it right here. Now it looks like a cute little goose, doesn't it? And they have like a little nostril or something over here. So I'm going to take a little bit of my black and put it in here. And I'm going to highlight it a little bit with white. I don't want to make this really solid because we know that they have a nostril, but do we really want to see it? No. And I'm going to come down here and give it a little bit of dark shade so that you can see that. This is looking really, really good. And I'm going to come back with a little bit of my orange and define my little goose. See, anybody can do this. This is not hard at all. And like I said, the kit is going to be online. I'll have the link right underneath the video part. So feel free to order the kit. The kits have been selling really well, and I'm only making a limited amount of kits because I don't want to start storing things. So please, if you want something, just let me know, and I'll be happy to, you know, work with you. Now the last we're going to do is the background, and I'm going to take my brush, and I think he needs a little bit more of a smile here. I'm going to fix that a little bit and then do my background. Nice. Okay, background. I'm going to take a little bit of white and a little bit of my green. A lot more of my green, and I want to just put this back here. And leave some of the brown of the wood showing. I think that gives it a little bit more character. And it also helps you here to get rid of your lines. See that? You don't see the lines anymore. And I'm going to come here and do this other side too. Come around here. This side is going to be a little bit lighter because it's... Put a little bit more white. Green. All the way to the bottom. See that? And dark underneath here, because we want that yellow to stand out on the beak. And I'm going to come back with a little bit darker green on the right, and we're almost done. All right, so let me know how you liked painting this little geese. How did it work out for you? And keep me posted. And after the geese, we're gonna have some other paintings that you can play with on the website. Thank you so much for watching. Enjoy the rest of your week and keep those posts coming. Thank you so much.